Hello YouTube, Marielle here. I would like to start this video by letting you all know how successful all of your prayers have been, because those prayers really worked. So I want to thank you all. I just found out a few days ago that my divorce case is going straight into hearing in front of a judge, and there isn't going to be any mediation attempts either. So yay to this victory. So we've also got a date now set for the first hearing, which is going to be on the 19th of April, which is this month, and it's coming up very soon. Today is Friday the 7th of April, and they are going to serve the wolf any day now, which really I'm looking forward to because it's taken way too long. My angel warrior explained to me that they will strategically try to serve the wolf near the hearing date to prevent him from organizing himself, which I think in my situation is the best way to do this, really. So here is a list of what my angel warrior is going to ask for the judge on the 19th. So she's going to ask for temporary financial support until we determine and ask for proper spousal support. She's going to ask for him to pay all of her fees. She's going to ask for his removal from the marital home, which is going to be temporary until our daughter turns 18, which will allow me to leave our home, which is what I want. I don't want to stay here. She is also going to ask for him to pay for a place for me to rent out. And she's asking for a common restraining order for both of us. And I am due to meet with her, with my angel warrior, the day before the hearing so she can prepare me before going into court and meeting the judge and being in this situation, which she admits can be very, very intimidating and very scary. And so yes, even talking about this really puts knots in my stomach. I am very, very anxious about this. Now, I would like to mention something I haven't had yet the chance to talk about here on this channel. And this is called, let me show this to you. I don't know whether you can see it properly. This is Jigmo. It's a voice, it looks like a flash drive, and it has a light here, a small light here that lit up, and it has an on and off button around here somewhere. And basically this is a voice recorder, and I've bought this on Amazon for about $25.99. And this is fantastic. It's an activated voice recorder, and I bought about 10 of those devices, and I have used them to bug my entire house. I have put them everywhere under everything, and I bought this many to allow me to have them on a rotation system. I've got them taped under my wolf's bedroom with the hope that I might catch a conversation between him and at least one of his lovers, which would really help my case. So maybe we can all get on that and pray a little more so that I can get one of those conversations in one of those magical little things here. I've also put those recorder devices, I use the sellotape, and I put it under, tables in the kitchen, under the sofas in our living room, in our sitting room. I've got them in our office, and I've also put them inside my daughter's bedroom. And yes, let me reassure you that yes, in the state I live, this is legal. I can record people's conversation and more without their knowledge, which is really great, because this makes a whole lot of a big difference for a situation like mine. And just like the last time when I went snooping in my husband's stuff and discovered all sorts of unpleasant stuff, well, this time there is no difference either. I have found out that my son basically has lost his girlfriend. I'm not too sure whether it was his ex-girlfriend or his current girlfriend. I wasn't quite sure. And I was really, really crushed to find that and to realize he never called me to share this, this sadness with me. And my daughter knew about this, and she never cared as well to let me know of this, so I could extend myself to and comfort my son. So it's been very, very sad for me. I didn't know her. I didn't know that young girl, obviously, but still. Then I caught a piece of conversation where my daughter is proudly telling her father just how much she's starting to enjoy beer. And during the recording, you can hear the wolf, her father, saying to her, right. Just like that, to this effect. Which, now that I am aware of his pathological conversation style, I can easily identify the meaning of what he is saying and why he is using this particular intonation. This style of answer is used to cover his behind if she was to confront him one day about his involvement in her drinking habit. And I also know that this type of non-committal answer will serve to provide him with enough room to introduce a twisted response to force her to be confused about her memory of the event. You see, by never fully giving a straight answer, it forces the other person to interpret whatever he says, whichever way that person, feels like. And I suppose this must be a technique he can only use on people he knows for sure loves him, trusts him, and who favors him heavily. Which means he must use a different type of technique with people who are not impressed by him. And I guess it's kind of too late for me to find out, right? He used to give me those kind of answers all the time. And I remember that's how I started to feel very unsure about things in our lives together, because that kind of interaction always left me guessing where he was standing on certain issues. And unfortunately, I never persisted for clarification either. And as time passed, I suppose I must have gotten used to this. And this is also how I probably started to assume he was in accordance, or he was agreeing with what I was thinking, what I was doing, or what I was choosing to do. When in fact, he was just leading me down a narrow path, all the while observing my reactions and planning his next move. And it's, once I start thinking about all of this in this way, it's very, very sad for me to hear him do the same to our daughter now, because this is exactly the same thing. It's the same pattern. It's the same thing. I recognize this. He's already messed her up so badly. As if this wasn't bad enough, in the same audio you hear the wolf tell our daughter to get herself a rich man to pay for her lifestyle. I was just appalled. How can this grown man hold this kind of conversation with a impressionable daughter? And this is after he's been encouraging her to stop going to school, to encourage her to sleep all day, to drink all day. And then he holds this kind of conversation with her in the most joking fashion ever. And my daughter is too busy buying into this fantastic, super cool persona her father is seducing and abusing her with. And she can't even figure out that this is not normal. I know I taught her better. She should know better. I can't understand that she would feel so much hatred towards me or towards anything and everything that I've taught her, that she has to push herself to go into the opposite direction just just for some... I just can't understand. I just don't get it. It's just incredible just how much power he has, the wolf has, over our children. It's insane. I'm sure if he was to ask her to jump over a bridge, she'll do it, thinking that somehow he has some magical power and he'll go and catch her in the butt, on her way down or something like this. This is crazy. I mean, I know he's done the same game with me. This is what he has done as well with me all those years. But I was at least questioning myself. But at least I was going, this is weird. Why does he do this? And those kids just don't demonstrate any of this. But then again, I can't really blame them because they've been groomed since they were very, very young, and they've lost any kind of, point of repair, point of, landmark or anything like this. And it's very, very difficult. And unfortunately for me, this is not even the worst of what I've discovered this past week. As I said before, I also put one recorder inside my daughter's bedroom, and because of this I found out that my daughter is snorting cocaine. The recorded conversation is between her and one of her male friends. She even talks about hanging around shady people. You can hear very clearly, saying that she knows those people are shady, but she chooses to hang around with them because she can. Then she goes on to talk about snorting Xanax by accident. She talks about having problems with her septum. That bridge, I hope I'm saying it right, the cartilage in the nose. I mean, I was shocked. I just feel extreme great sadness for my children, for my daughter. I just want to tell them that I love them, and I want to tell her that I love her. I want to give her a big hug. I want to tell her it's going to be all right, or even though I don't know if it's ever going to be all right. But I can't. I just can't. I have to keep everything a secret for now. So not only my daughter is on her way to become an alcoholic because her father has been encouraging her to consume alcohol on a daily basis, but she is also now a cokehead because her father is giving her large sums of money to make sure she basically destroys herself. Same thing he did with our son. I never thought my wolf would take things this far. I never imagined that destroying his own children could be in his mind all along when he initially started to defy me almost every day by giving our children sweets and cakes just before dinner all those years ago. And and they were like this tall. I mean, they were, 4, 5, 6, 7... I started with the sweets, I started with the cakes, then I started with the clothes, then I started with the, video games, then I started with, for every single stage that man had some chaos, something, some problem, he always manufactured problems for those kids to have with me, or for me to have with my children. And I never, ever, ever thought he could take any of this far. And he looks straight at his own kids, and he plays his game to the end. He's not stopping. He knows what he's doing. He can tell those kids are now struggling. He can tell those kids are in the wrong path. As long as destroying them will destroy me, will stop me from claiming any kind of achievement, he's fine with it. This is what he's after. This is what he's satisfied with. this is what will make him feel better about himself. That there is just nothing, you know, that I've dreamed of, that I've tried to achieve, that I've worked for has come to fruition. Nothing. Nothing. And that's his goal. The whole thing is just incredible, really. I called CPS and explained everything to them. And I was glad to hear when they said that, you know, even though she's about to turn 18, they can still launch an investigation. And they said that they will do it within 72 hours. And that's when I realized that I couldn't file a report just yet, because doing so would have, you know, would blow my cover, and my husband might become suspicious enough for him to leave town, you know, to make up a story of having to you know, to travel for business and stuff like that, and not come back for like a month or something like that. I can easily see him even staying in town but just not coming home at all, or something like that, like this. So which will make it very, very difficult to actually serve him the divorce papers. So instead, I felt like I had no choice, and that it will be better for me to file with Child Protective Services. Only after, you know, we'll serve him with the divorce papers. That's the best thing that I can do. So in the meantime, I have to wait. And again, this evening, tonight actually, is rather a very difficult, another difficult night for me, because he has now started to make all sorts of noises around the house late at night. And like a few of you over there will probably identify with this. Something is, you know, I never actually happened to me a lot of, but now he's actually moved on to doing that, is to make all sorts of random noises and stuff like that late at night to try to prevent me from sleeping. The only thing that he doesn't quite realize that I'm not sleeping, because I've darkened all my windows and everything, and he doesn't know that I'm doing those videos, so it's not keeping me awake. It's just very weird to see him do that. Very weird. And then to also make his daughter participate, you know, they're making all sorts of noise. It's just so weird. Just the whole thing is just crazy. So in the meantime, I busied myself looking into treatment facilities so I can send my daughter there, with the hope that she can get some kind of therapy and treatment as well for, obviously, alcohol and drug addiction. And so as you can imagine, it's been a very difficult and disappointing week for me, and especially after I found out that no one can actually force a child over 16 to enter rehab if they don't want to. Not even a judge can do that unless the child is hurting themselves or can potentially hurt someone else. And this really left me in a state of, you know, hopelessness and feeling extremely helpless. Until she is 18, I thought there would be a way to you know, to force her to go into treatment so she can clean herself. She's still a child, you know, and apparently that's not so. She can leave even if she goes there, even if I manage to talk her into going there. The very next day, she's free to call whoever and leave, you know, call one of her friends and leave the center, the treatment center, and there'll be nothing I can do. There isn't much I can really do for those children, but in the meantime, there is much I can do for myself, I suppose. So I decided to seek out also a psychotherapist specialized in narcissism and psychopathy in my town, for some additional face-to-face support, because I just desperately feel the need to be heard, to be understood. And yes, I do this here as well on YouTube, but it doesn't quite feel the same way. Once I actually told that psychotherapist that I was divorcing my wolf, she immediately offered to testify and be my witness in court. And I couldn't believe it. I was just, I didn't even think about it myself at all. And she just offered. And this hopefully might help me as well, because to prove my case, because when it comes to proving that I've been abused, it's very hard. There are so many agencies in here, but I found out that an awful lot of those agencies and services that are available for people who are victim of abuse, an awful lot of those services are really geared just towards those who have been physically abused. This kind of abuse, this psychological and emotional and everyday torture, mental torture, is just not quite recognized. And even if some people understand or agree or kind of let you talk and everything, but you can sense that they just don't quite get it. It's just so pervasive, it's just so twisted, and it's just so, some of the stuff they do can be so small, and the victim just end up looking crazy. And unless a person is trained to recognize those things, it can be very, very difficult to get normal people who don't have this kind of experience to understand. Just like I keep saying with my children, who's going to believe that my wolf, my husband, has done this to his own kids? Who's going to believe me? No one. And especially once they hear that he was always, traveling, and I was the primary caretaker, and I was the one that was here with them every day. Who's gonna believe that he's the one, within the time he was traveling and coming back, he's the one who actually caused this? It's just way too complicated. And the more you insist, the more you look like, or I feel like I look like I'm trying to make him look bad. I'm trying very hard to accuse him of crazy stuff, whenever I try to talk to somebody who's not quite familiar with this kind of abuse. It's very, very, very hard. So yes, of course, I am really, really grateful that my psychotherapist will be, is willing to actually come and testify as well on my behalf, or be a witness for me, because I'm not too sure that I'm going to be able to get my wolf to agree to voluntarily agree to get a mental health check, or to get the judge to force him to do that either. And even if they did, I'm not too sure I will have the money. I just don't know. So it's been a very, very long week, very busy, and I've also had to retrieve all my email exchange and text between me and my wolf at the demand of my angel warrior, who said that those old conversations would help us prove also his financial control over me. And she was right. So many ordinary exchanges that I've had with my wolf over the years, I never thought twice about those exchanges, but which no longer look innocent, now that I've actually pulled some of them out and taken the time to reread them. And yes, my angel warrior was absolutely right. An awful lot of those exchanges, whether they were in text or through emails, really point to an awful lot of the struggles that I had, trying to get him to accept to do different things around the house, or with the children, or to stop, or with money and all of those things. And so my lawyer was absolutely right. But unfortunately, for me, there is a huge portion of those very important emails as well that I had deleted over time, because my phone and my computer, they're very, very old. And I say very old. Not this one here that this is a brand new one that I've actually recently bought. And this is actually to keep my conversation with my lawyer and stuff like that private, so he doesn't know I have this phone. But my main phone, the one that I've had like for forever, I had to keep deleting some photos and to make space, because the memory wasn't that great on it, and which means that an awful lot of those conversations are gone, and I've tried my best and I can't retrieve them. Same with my computer as well. But you know, hopefully we can still use the ones that I managed to that I did keep. So now that we know that he's going to be served very, very soon, within the next, you know, few days, my angel warrior wants me out of the house for as long as possible. Actually, she would rather if I wasn't here anymore. And I understand her concern, and I am with her on it, but I am worried that if I leave the house, he will lock me out of the house, and I'll have a huge problem to come back inside the house. And also, I don't want to leave my daughter here alone with him. It would be different if I could take her with me, but I know she's never gonna agree to live with me, and I can't even tell her why, you know, she should live with me. And the minute I say something like this, you know, the chances are she will contact her dad and she says, guess what? Mommy told me to leave, you know. I don't know what's wrong with her, you know. Maybe she's trying to kidnap me or something like that. What she won't understand is by saying something like that, she'll be handing out a huge clue to her father, which will probably become extremely suspicious and, you know, maybe leave town or something like that. But whatever it is, I just can't tell my daughter. So, and because of that, I can't leave. I just don't want to leave. You know, I want to stay here and be with her just in case there is an issue. So I guess what I might do, you know, is just maybe barricade myself inside my bedroom once they come and serve him, because they're gonna serve him here in the house. And maybe I should start buying some food and some water and prepare for Hurricane Wolfie.